Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to make creme brulee, so stay tuned. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I've got a small mixing bowl, then I've got a regular bowl, and I want to separate the yolks from the whites in 6 eggs. And we're going to beat these yolks. And I'll save these whites for something else. There's one. Set those off to the side. Okay, and to this I want to add 4 tablespoons of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I want to beat this until it gets creamy. So I've got my little electric mixer here. So I'll just have a glass of wine while I'm beating my eggs. Leftover from the main course. So we're going to mute this. Okay, and here we have our egg yolk mixture. It's thick and creamy. So let's go over to the stove. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to measure out 2½ cups. It's supposed to be heavy cream, but a quart of heavy cream is $7.96, and that's the cheap stuff. So instead of that, we actually are substituting with some half and half. So I want to put 2½ cups of this into a saucepan. Of course, the markings that I need are on the other side. Just a little bit more. Okay. And I want to heat that over a low heat. And I don't want it to boil. I just want to bring it up to temperature, and I want to get it to where it kind of coats the back of a spoon. I want to heat this half and half up. So it's like I said, don't bring it to a boil. Don't let it scorch. So we'll get a metal spoon so we can check this in just a few minutes. Okay, what I want to do with this is my half and half, is I want to heat this up to almost boiling, but not quite. And then I'm going to stir this into my egg mixture and then put it over a double boiler. And I don't actually have a double boiler, so I'll show you what I did to kind of remedy that situation. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, we've got our half and half up to about, put a thermometer in here, about 200 degrees. So I'm going to quit there because I don't want to scorch it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this from the heat. Okay, so I've pulled this from the heat, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my double boiler over here. And what this is I've actually started to heat the water already. It's just a steamer basket. And then that way, whenever we get ready, we can put our pot right back in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take a little of this. Let me get the whisk. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to temper these eggs, because if I add this all at once, it's going to basically scramble those or poach those. So I just want to add a little of this at a time. Okay, I think I can pour the rest of that in. On here, I'll pour this back in here, and I've got my water where it's basically at a simmer. So I want to cook this egg mixture until it coats the back of the spoon. But like I said, we're doing it on indirect heat with the double boiler like this. So we're just going to keep an eye on this, and whenever this gets up to where it coats the back of the spoon, heated wise or whatever, then we'll go from there. Okay, we've cooked our egg mixture until it is coating the back of the spoon. You can see here in the video how that's kind of just completely coating the whole back of that spoon with, it's thicker, it's not just like the liquid stuff, it's kind of actually sticking to the spoon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to take and wipe the excess liquid off of this so it doesn't drip in there. I'm going to pour it into our shallow dish. And I've set the oven for 300 degrees, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here for like 30 minutes. And when it comes out, when it's actually done, you want it to where it's still kind of wiggly, not liquidy, but it still kind of jiggles in the middle. So we're going to put this in the oven, and let's come back and visit this in about 30 minutes time and see what we've got, okay? So I've got this on a baking dish, and we're going to put this in here for 30 minutes. And when this comes out, we're going to cool this off for like an hour, or several hours if we can. We're going to chill that down, and whenever it comes time to actually serve it, what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle some brown sugar and some white sugar across the top of that and stick it under the broiler. So the top of that gets kind of a crunchy, sugary coating on top of that. And so when you actually break into the creme brulee or whatever, it's if you got a crunchy, sweet topping on top of that. So I'm real excited to try this. This will be my first time making this. So stay tuned. I think we're going to have fun. So. Okay. And here's our creme brulee. You can see what I was saying about the middle, about it being kind of jiggly and not completely set up. Sort of like Jell-O. So that's where we want to leave that. So we're just going to pull this off and let this cool for about an hour. So we'll just set it off the cookie sheet, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've got the broiler on in the oven, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a tablespoon or so of the sugar on top of this. And also a little bit of the brown sugar. So I'm basically going to put this in here and keep the door open for just a few seconds, a minute or two, to brown this. And my rack is I just want to bubble that up. And we'll be back when that comes out. And there's our creme brulee with the brown sugar and the sugar melted on top. So we'll get into this in just a little while.